Hey friends, and welcome to another edition of 10 with Den. This week, I'm calling this one Make Time for Silence. Last week, as you may recall, we spent some time sharing about Jesus' incredible story of calming the tempest, the storm from a fisherman's boat, and how symbolic that was to and is to our times. And today I want to talk a little bit about silence because I feel that after a couple of weeks of this quarantine, a couple of weeks of getting used to this idea that we need to temporarily change our lifestyles a bit, we start to get comfortable. And as we get comfortable, we go back a little bit to our old habits. And not that there is anything bad about it, but it's interesting to realize sometimes how quickly we start to fill up our dance cards again, how quickly we start to get busy and find ourselves just occupying our time, at least myself, with all these different things that we need to do, and we don't make time to reflect anymore. We just get busy, we just continue to seek external input. Maybe we are filling our extra time with watching TV, or maybe even some uplifting talks or some great books. And that's all nice and well. But I wonder if we are having the experience but miss the meaning, as my favorite poet, TS Eliot, once said. We might be going through all this experience but missing the meaning of it all. And to arrive at the meaning, we'd really have to think about reflecting. There can be no progress without reflection. There just can't. I know that sometimes we get so busy that we don't make time for reflection. We don't make time for that silence that is required for us to reflect. We get moving so quickly that our days just kind of blend into each other as we wait for things to go back the way they were. But I wonder, as I shared with you before, if this is not an opportunity for us to reinvent the world and our inner world as well, and figure out what are the things that we want to continue to do that we were doing before, what are the new things that we want to start doing now, and what are the things that we want to stop doing altogether. What are the things that we are going to carry with us from this experience with the coronavirus, from being quarantined at home and having time with our loved ones more present. What are the things that we are going to take forward with us, and what are the things that we are going to leave behind? These are very hard questions, I feel, because we are always seeking input from the outside world, and it's hard to slow down and make time for us. One of my favorite psalms is Psalm 46, and in there has a beautiful sentence that I think many of us might know and relate to. Be still and know that I am God. And I think that's a wonderful thing, being still. Being still, I think, means letting go of all these external inputs and just releasing control for a while and just going inside of ourselves and reflecting and making space for silence and making time for silence. Because in silence, we can finally hear the answers the universe is giving us. We sometimes ask for all these things. We ask for enlightenment, inspiration, and direction, but we fail to make time for silence and for listening. So, what are the things that we are doing to follow that advice that Psalm 46 gives us? And follow the advice that the poet T.S. Eliot is giving us to make sure that we're not just having the experience, but missing the meaning. To have the meaning, we have to reflect. And to reflect, we need to make time for it. And to make time for it, we need to kind of silence our minds. So let's find that time to reflect, which is the most difficult thing that we can possibly do, about who do we want to be and what are the things that we want to see in this new world that's going to arrive right after this crisis goes away, and how many weeks or months, we don't know. But we can prepare for it. And so as I sit here, I'm trying to think how I myself would make time for silence. Is it through some more time praying? Is it more reflection in the shower when nobody's bothering me? Is it when I get to walk around the block once a day? Is it somehow else? Find your own way. Find your way to make time for silence. And let's change this challenge that we have within ourselves of not being okay with silence. I often notice that when things are silent, we struggle. We feel like there's something wrong. We feel like we need to turn the radio on or the TV on, and nothing could be farther from the truth. Silence is perfectly okay. It's actually very productive because, again, there can be no progress without reflection. So I hope that you may join me in this attempt to make time for silence, to reflect on what really matters, and to use this opportunity to the best of our abilities to reflect on how do we want to come out of this? How are we going to show up after this into the world? Because beautiful things can happen if we work together, if we transform ourselves. So I'm looking forward to continue this journey with you. I want to thank you for being here watching this video, joining me virtually, connecting with me via YouTube or Facebook, because it matters. And it really makes my day that you would take some of your time to join me in this journey. So thank you. Thank you. I hope you make time for silence. I hope you join me in this challenge. And I also hope that your week may be filled with joy, with love, mercy, and peace. Be well.